Hello everybody and welcome to Friday's edition. Wait there, 1 second. I've left something in the oven. Ooh, ah, ah, ooh, ah, ah. Ooh, ooh. Oh. We're going to be talking about that hot political potato shortly. But first, before we do, an even more divisive matter at hand. The brand new EF Pro Cycling kit. I don't even know what to say about this thing. Like, there's a lot of people over on Twitter saying it's cool. Mark Cavendish even said it was cool. People think this is the most revolutionary thing to ever happen in cycling. I don't know what to say about this. Instantly, leave your comments down below and let me know what you think to this kit. This is my personal opinion. It's disgusting. It's horrendous. It's like you've given a 4-year-old some paint and some stickers and said, literally do whatever you want on this shirt. We don't care. It's just a migraine waiting to happen. If I had to follow a rider in that shirt for a whole 3 weeks at the Giro d'Italia, I would go ballistic. Now, clearly Rafa and EF Pro Cycling are trying to create a buzz around the team, and it's worked. Not one rider has turned the pedals in anger at the Giro d'Italia, yet everybody's talking about EF Pro Cycling and Palace, which I presume is some sort of skateboard. Wait there. So yeah, it's a skateboard fashion brand, and they've obviously collaborated with Rafa on this thing to make... I'd love to know the thought process behind this. I don't think there is one. I think they've just absolutely gone to town, done whatever they wanted to do, created this monstrosity or this amazing piece of art, depending which way you look at it. And yeah, the riders have now got to wear it for the next 3 weeks during the Giro d'Italia. I presume it's going to be rolled out for the rest of the team wherever else they're racing. Now, I understand why everybody's jumping on the bandwagon saying that this is the coolest thing that they have ever seen within cycling, but the bar has been set very low. The bar has been set very, very low when it comes to especially fashion within cycling. Block colours, monochrome colours, boring shapes. AG2R, need I say any more? So for a fashion brand to bring in so much colour and vibrance is a good thing. However, for me personally, it's just a little bit too extreme. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever, apart from gaining publicity, which it did. But as a kit, I would never wear that. Never, ever wear that. But again, that's my personal opinion. Let me know what you think down below. Do you rate it or do you slate it? Rate or slate on Chris Pritchard Cycling News Show. Next up, sticking with the theme of one-off fashion within cycling, Alaphilippe's World Championship bike has just been launched, and again, are we looking at a 6-year-old's first bike? This is a Specialized S-Works. This is the World Champs bike. Now, if we look at previous editions of World Champs bikes, British National Champion bike from Ben Swift, that is one of the best bikes I've ever seen. But this looks like it's been taken from a website where you can customize your own bike, and you've literally just gone to town and selected every single color you can on the palette and then just gone, yeah, that'll do. The rainbow stripes are about style, about class, about elegance, and this bike has none of that. Now, one bike that does have elegance is Filippo Ganna's Pinarello. Look at that. That's going to be on show tomorrow at the Giro, and that does ooze class and oozes style. But again, fashion and style, completely subjective. Leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think to Julian Alaphilippe's Specialized S-Works and Filippo Ganna's Pinarello Baldi. Is that what the time trial bike's called? I think it is. Let me know down in the comments below. Next up, and it's time to address the political hot potato in the room, Quinn bloody Simmons. Now, before we get into the opinion part of this story, let's take a look at the timeline and find out exactly what happened over on Twitter. So this kicked off after the presidential election debate over in America. I'm not going to touch that whatsoever. But during that, Jose Bean, she's a very well-known, very established cycling journalist over in Europe. She tweeted out saying this: "My dear American friends, I hope this horrible presidency ends for you and for us as former allies too. If you follow me and support Trump, you can go. There is zero excuse to follow or vote for the vile, horrible man. To which Quinn Simmons, he's one of several professional cyclists that follow Jose. He simply tweeted, bye, with a black hand emoji waving, bye. Now, since those tweets have come out and a lot of people around the world have got wind of it, they've all chimed in and had their say. A lot of abuse has been aimed towards Jose. Absolutely ridiculous, some of the stuff that I read over on Twitter. She subsequently deleted the original tweet. She then issued a tweet saying that, what we'll talk about in a second as to the punishment from Quinn's employers, was nothing she ever intended for him to have to suffer. And then subsequently she has deleted her Twitter account as well. Dare I say it, it has all been blown way out of proportion. It could have, and I'm not saying it is, I'm not defending somebody, but it could have been a genuine mistake. A mistake that he didn't even think would be an issue, right? And I'm not saying that was the case, but potentially he could have sent that tweet and that could have been the default emoji. And he might not even thought twice about it, right? On the other hand, which is slightly more scary, he picked that emoji out knowing that it would cause this kind of an explosion of emotion from a lot of people during a very, very tense time over in America with the presidential election debates and all the Black Lives Matter movement that's going on. And if that's the case, then, boo! I mean, this could all have easily been avoided if he'd just said bye, not said anything at all, or if, although she suffered some serious abuse, Yossi didn't even put the tweet out in the first place. Again, we talk about freedom of speech and everybody is entitled to say whatever they like. Whether somebody else is offended by that, that's kind of on them. If it's illegal, if it's hate speech, then again, that's a different matter. But essentially at the point where someone decides to say it, they can say whatever they like. And she decided to say whatever she liked. In hindsight now, probably not worth getting involved in. And I know a lot of people say if you don't say anything at all, it's just as bad as supporting the people that are saying the wrong things. But there are times to pick arguments. There are times to say what you feel you need to say. And her saying that doesn't change the landscape of anything. It just baited out a few people, one of them being Quinn Simmons, and then before you know it, it's not what anybody had intended on it ever being. And then from all that, a lot of people that were against what Quinn Simmons had said and done, they started tagging in Trek and Trek Segafredo, his cycling team. And, it gets to the point where there's so many people contacting them that they have to take a stand. They have to do something about it. They have to make a statement. And then they subsequently benched Quinn Simmons. They've not sacked him. They've not cancelled his contract. They've simply put him on a bit of a sabbatical, for want of a better word, I guess. And then they issued this statement. Trek Segafredo is an organisation that values inclusivity and supports a more diverse and equitable sport for all athletes. While we support the right to free speech, we will hold people accountable for their words and actions. Fair enough. Regrettably, team rider Quinn Simmons made statements online that we feel are divisive, incendiary and detrimental to the team, professional cycling, its fans and the positive future we hope to create for the sport. In response, he will not be racing for Trek Segafredo until further notice. And then once again, welcome to Twitter, backlash from that statement. A lot of people saying that Quinn Simmons should be free to say whatever he likes, whenever he likes, and he shouldn't be sacked or suspended or benched, whatever you want to call it, because he made free speech. So then once again, Trek are tagged in all of these tweets. They look at the situation and then they release this statement saying Trek Segafredo is an organisation that values inclusivity and supports more diverse and equitable sport for all athletes. I'm sure we've already read that. Quinn Simmons was not suspended because of his political views. He was suspended for engaging in conversation on Twitter in a way that we felt was conduct unbefitting a Trek athlete. The following is a statement from Simmons and team management. Quinn Simmons then goes on to say, as an American rider, I have always been proud to represent my country. Riding for an American team has been a lifelong dream. A big reason I chose this team was because of the American values behind it. To those who found the colour of the emoji racist, I can promise that I did not mean for it to be interpreted that way. I would like to apologise to everyone who found this offensive, as I strongly stand against racism in any form. To anyone who disagrees with me politically, that's fine. I won't hate you for it. I only ask the same. Now, is that an apology that's been forced upon him by Trek and he doesn't actually believe that? Or is this just a 19, 20-year-old kid who made a genuine mistake with it? Who was baiting a little bit, who thought it'd be funny, who thought he was trying to get one up on somebody by using it? I don't know. Quinn Simmons is now in a very unique position. He's front and centre within the cycling peloton. It's his opportunity now to say, I am not a racist. I'm going to go above and beyond to make sure, one, you know I'm not racist, and two, create a more inclusive professional peloton, to create more equality within the peloton. And he can do that. He's got the platform right now to do that. And I think he owes that to a lot of people. Dare I ask for your thoughts down below? Listen, we're a cycling show. It's not about politics. So don't start with all your politics in the chat, all right? Free speech and all that, yeah, but it's my channel. I'm not saying you can't have your say, but just think about just going, if you want to make a political statement, just go and say it in the mirror, then come back and leave a nice comment. Really appreciate it. Anyway, on with rest of news. And then the final story for today, just prior to the Giro d'Italia starting, is this one over on Cycling News that says, Geraint Thomas hits Giro d'Italia with newfound form and motivation. And the subheadline reads, Brailsford argues media misunderstood Thomas not racing the Tour de France. Right, I don't need to go any further than that. I don't need to read any more because I know what Dave Brailsford's thinking. He's thinking that this was his move and this was his plan all along because he knew that Tour de France team were going to not do much. It was his plan all along. He knew it. Bullshit. This is going to be one of those Dave Brailsford masterstrokes that he knew all along that this was the plan, but I think everyone knows that G needed a few more weeks of training to get to the form he needed to. Granted, he was on decent form compared to a lot of people, but he wouldn't have made the top three at the Tour de France. I made a comment, and I think, in fact, Bradley Wiggins made a comment about G being out of form, could have finished where Richie Porte finished. I don't think that's the case, actually, and I feel pretty bad for actually saying that because Richie Porte put in an amazing ride in the Tour de France, but this isn't going to be a masterstroke from Brailsford. This is them realising that they couldn't have really taken G because he didn't have the right form, so they went, well, let's make him go to the Giro, which is not a bad move in the end because clearly G is taking some good form into it. We saw him at the World Time Trial Championships. Wiggins actually said today as well that potentially Geraint Thomas could lead this from start to finish. That's a possibility. I was thinking about that actually this morning on my ride. You've got Geraint Thomas, you've got Filippo Ganna, and you've got Rowan Dennis, all capable of winning that first individual time trial. So potentially the jersey could stay with Ineos right from the start all the way to the end. Although I don't think G will be too worried about getting that Maglia Rosa straight away. I think he'll be happy to give it to someone else. Potentially he might be happy to not have it in the team at all, but you wouldn't want to take away a victory. It's definitely going to be between Ganna and Rowan Dennis. So one of the Ineos Grenadiers is going to have that jersey on their bike after the first day of the Giro d'Italia. Will it be G? Probably not. Does he want it? I don't think so. I think he'll wait and keep the pressure off of him because going into it as favourite, the weight of the Maglia Rosa might be a little bit too heavy for him and he might feel the pressure. But again, as always, leave your comments down below. Is this a masterstroke from Brailsford? Did they know this all along? Was it always part of the plan? Or was the plan to take Carapaz, and when they realised that G was not on the form he should have been for the Tour de France, they switched it up a little bit. And that's your news for today. Thank you for watching. Again, let's leave it not political. It's about cycling on this channel. Leave your comments down below about everything that we spoke about. Let me know your predictions for this weekend's Giro d'Italia. Who do you think is going to be in that Maglia Rosa on stage 2? I'll be back on Monday with all the updates from weekend. Like, subscribe, notification bell, hit that dislike button if you've not enjoyed the video. Have a good weekend, everybody. See you later.